All in favor, say aye. Aye. That's been approved. Election appointments, there are none. Special orders committees, none. Unfinished business, none. Petitions and communications, none. We're moving right along. Before we get to visitors, I'm going to call on Mayor Johns to give us a brief explanation of the events that happened the other day. So,
Thank you, Mr. President. Just wanted to take a moment here. We weren't sure how many visitors were going to be here. Perhaps we want to speak to the events of this past Thursday. I first of all want to congratulate. Is Chief Shepherd here? No. Okay. Well, I'll congratulate him anyway, and the officers in our police department who worked hard throughout the day to try to locate and bring into custody Mr. Stroud. I think, from my observations, our department also worked well in coordination with other area departments in that effort, as well as state agencies in search for Mr. Stroud. There were, I did actually on Thursday have time to field 2 or 3 phone calls from residents who I spoke to, and a couple others I think that I called and left messages back for, who had questions and concerns regarding the incident and Mr. Stroud being at that facility. And I want to relay to all of you kind of what I mentioned then. First of all, and I think this was reported in one of the media outlets, but I've asked Chief Shepherd in our police department to provide a written, detailed report of the events of that day, because I want to try to take a look at what we did right and areas in which we can improve. So I know that the department's working on compiling the information and the report for that right now. There's been some discussion about how can we try to make sure that something like this doesn't happen again. From the city standpoint and our law enforcement standpoint, advance notice would have been helpful. I was talking to Chief Shepherd earlier today, and I'm not sure from a jurisdictional standpoint what we as a local government can do. I have a meeting set up on Wednesday with our law director. This is just one of the topics that I have to discuss with him during that meeting. My sense is that since facilities such as this are not licensed by the city, I'm not sure that we have a whole lot of jurisdiction. However, I think at the state level, they would. And I intend to try to work through those channels, if those are the appropriate channels, in order to make sure that there are rules, regulations, laws put in place to help ensure that if an individual, through a process of legal proceedings, is required to stay in another jurisdiction, and they are accused of, or have been charged, I guess, with crimes the nature of which Mr. Stroud was, which was, I believe, attempted murder. That the jurisdiction in which that person is going to be kept should at least be notified that individual, as part of legal proceedings, is being required to stay there. would we have, if we had had information prior to, would we have posted, an armed guard outside his door 24/7? No. But I think we could have, our law enforcement could have at least done a little bit of homework, gotten a little bit of basic information, which I know we were working hard to try to get, as Mr. Stroud, was out outside the facility. So I just want to bring council up to date on that. I'm very empathetic toward Mr. Stroud and also his family. I think anybody who watched the video of the court proceedings with Judge Higgins, God help me if I ever become so jaded as to not be moved by what I saw, with this individual and in his particular circumstances. But having said that, as the mayor and the safety director, I have a responsibility to maintain the public safety of the citizens of Heath. And I have to pursue those with all vigor. I do want to clear up maybe one misconception that I think that I've heard from some in the community. Some in the community think that the Scioto County courts put him here. My understanding is that is not the case. My understanding from information we got from the family is that Mr. Stroud's care was the responsibility of the family. It was the family that identified the nursing home as a location that they felt would be of benefit to Mr. Stroud. And so made the request of the Scioto County courts that he be allowed to stay there. As part of the bond agreement with Mr. Stroud, the courts required him to stay at that facility. But there's definitely a difference between that and saying that the Scioto County courts were the ones that put him there. That's not the case. So I don't know if any of you, had heard that from people maybe that have been communicating with you about the incident. I want to make sure that you have the facts on that particular aspect of the situation. But as I said, I think our law enforcement handled the situation well. I think they certainly worked hard throughout the day, and I don't want to underestimate or diminish the information that we received from the family. It was helpful. It was his brother who said to our police department that he was an avid outdoorsman, liked to deer hunt. In all likelihood, Mr. Stroud during the day kind of laid low, and then was using the cover at night to try to make tracks. And his brother said that he felt he was going to use rail lines and waterways to navigate his way back toward the Portsmouth area. They didn't find him too far away from the south fork of the Licking River. So the information that we received from the family was helpful. We're grateful for that. And in the end, when you look at the situation and consider the fact that we were able to apprehend Mr. Stroud without injuring him, and that while he was out, he apparently didn't injure anybody else. It really is probably the best outcome that that scenario could have produced. But I just want to assure you, him being apprehended and sent back to Scioto County is not the end of it. From the city standpoint, it does take time to try to formulate the best way for us to react to this, to try to make sure that this type of situation necessarily doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in the city of Heath, but also doesn't happen in any other jurisdiction in the state of Ohio as well. So I want to let you know that we're going to continue to work toward that. I don't know how long it will take to do that, but I want to make sure that we do it in the right way, not just a fast way. So with that, that's all I have on that topic.
Right. With that being said, now it's time for visitors to speak. So any visitors would like to speak, come up to the podium, say your name and address, and tell us your concerns.
Wayne Goodwin, 1611 Hebron Road. Just wanted to let you know, one, I talked to our animal control officer, and he was telling me, and I don't know how many of you know it in the city of Heath, but our county animal control department operates solely on the funds of dog tags. Now, they are totally self-sufficient in all animal, I should say, canine control is all done by people that own dogs. So it's not out of our county budget. So the animal control is doing really well now that things have been turned around up there, and it's like a different place, an adoption center. So I'd like to let everyone know that also next Monday night, Bob Evans is at 3 locations. Again, doing a all day long 15% of your meal goes to the animal shelter. So hope everyone will join us in possibly breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other visitors?
I'm Carol Duvall. My address is 145 Laren Drive, Heath, Ohio. I am one of the owners of the Heath Nursing Care Center, also the Oak Tree Shopping Center there. So not only am I a resident and a homeowner, as well as a business owner in the community. And I appreciate Mayor John's all that you said about your police department. I think so. I think everything was handled on a very good scale with the police department. However, I do believe somebody, and I don't know who, with the media hype. I mean, it was almost to the point of being ridiculous of the media hype. We had killers running around shooting people and their families and the Cracker Barrels. We had all kinds of stuff, and they didn't get the media hype that we got here in Heath, Ohio concerning a man who had brain cancer. And yes, his family did put him in the facility, and we did at the facility. My understanding, it did not know, and I'm sorry, I'm not involved in the daily running of the nursing home, so I can't see every little aspect of it. But they did not know with all the criminal backgrounds, it is not necessarily their policy to run criminal background checks on all of their residents. They obviously have been doing so now. They're doing some of that just to make sure that the incident didn't happen again. Mr. Stroud had been in the nursing home for over a year, since last February. Not been a real problem for anybody. I've been in those units myself. I've never been approached by anybody. Most people just kind of go away, go to their room or just go out in their sitting areas, and they don't appear to be dangerous. Most of them obviously are on, again, on medications and things like that. And this was, I thought, understood for his second tumor, second operation. And as far as the police report, according to family and reports, he was very despondent over finding out that he also had another brain situation. And the police saying attempted murder was he was trying to actually end his own life, not anybody else's. And yes, I guess he did pull a gun. And his sister at one point made a comment to someone that he was actually hoping to have suicide with police. And that's what he wanted to happen. He did not want to go through what he's going through now. And like you said, if you saw the video after his arraignment on Friday, you have to feel kind of sorry for the gentleman, And he was returned without harm to Scioto County, obviously. And there are regulations in the state to govern these things. In fact, they're surveying people, and there's people from the state already been in there since Thursday. So On another note, I don't know if there's anything else, I'll be glad to try to answer any questions. On another note, speaking about, I didn't know he was gonna speak about the dog license and the dog thing. We're also supporting the New Humane Shelter out here on Thornwood Drive, where my parents were naming the shelter after Harold E. endorsed J. Hodges, who was the family founders of Heath Nursing Home, as well as two others in this county. And the family that joined together to help build a new dog animal shelter out there. So donating quite a bit of money to the animals as well as the people of our their county is taken care of. Thank you.
Are there any other visitors who'd like to speak? Seeing none, we'll move on to committee reports. Finance and budget, Mr. Craig.
Thank you, Mr. President. Finance and budget not this evening. We had 4 legislative requests to cover. First one, appropriate $6,000 for ammunition from the law enforcement trust fund, account number 230. Second item, appropriate $3,500 for a new trailer for the parks department. Third item, appropriate up to $4,000 from the capital improvement fund to purchase video security system for the Heath water park. Fourth item, legislators request to authorize an expenditure of $1,500 for passport services advertising. Other items, Dr. Alexander reported our bond refinancing on the Franklin Avenue water line and booster station project came in at a 10-year funding of 2.49%, which is very impressive. Dr. Alexander, anything else? Tim Geller.
Thank you. Public services, Mr. Morrow.
Thank you, Mr. President. This meeting of the Heath Public Service will be next Monday, April 23rd at 5:30 at City Hall. Nothing to add. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Public safety, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll try to get this without having public safety met on April 9th at 5:31 p.m. We began with police under March statistics. There were a total of 1,469 calls for service. 169 of them were offense reports, 51 arrests, 25 accidents, and 87 citations. Overtime usage for March was $10,895 with a year-to-date total of $33,677. Under false alarms, there were a total of 33. 29 of them were commercial or residential. There was a March alarm revenue of $150 with a year-to-date total of $2,352.50. There was one legislative request to appropriate $6,000 within the law enforcement trust fund to law enforcement material and supplies to preclude shortages to purchase ammunition for the rifles. There was one of our newest dispatchers was resigning. Pretty much all the chiefs saying on that subject. We were also in the midst of a CLIA visit. I may have said that wrong. The visit essentially was for us to maintain our flagship status. Under other, chief is looking at buildings for the new impound lot, the possible new impound lot. Still National quoted wants a Hudstone building for $75,000, and with that, he said we'd be looking at other vendors and other options. Also under other, there was a lengthy discussion with input from citizens regarding the vandalism and criminal damaging in the Southgate area. Chief Shepherd reported some statistics from February 1st, 2012, April 5th, 2012. In 2012, there were 38 incidents. And in 2011, during that same time frame, there were 40. So during that time frame, there wasn't much of a difference. Irregardless, Mayor Johnson suggested starting a community watch program in the area is an option, and that the city, the police department, and he would be willing to assist the citizens through the process. Chief Shepherd also had instructed his officers to step up patrol in the area, and also suggested the use of web-based cameras to defer the activity. After much more discussion, input from citizens, we adjourned that meeting at 7:08 p.m. Moved on to fire at 7:20. Under March statistics, there were a total of 33 fire runs with a year-to-date total of 104. Under EMS, there were 150 runs with a total of 438 year-to-date. Under transports, there were monthly total of 97 with 273 year-to-date. Chief had no legislative requests. Under monthly expense report, February wages were at $66,003.83. February overtime was at $9,257.19. Under equipment, the SCBA load testing is complete, and the fit testing of department personnel is also complete. Under personnel, firefighter Gregory needs to have surgery, so he's going to be out for approximately 6 weeks. Under training, they are going to have joint training with the Licking Township Fire Company. Under old business, they're still researching the rescue replacement. Also under old business, the EMS software update, Eileen with Medville has agreed to pick up a portion of the cost of the upgrade. The dollar amount has yet to be determined. Under new business, the chief suggested a safety levy to help supplement the needs of the fire and police services. And under new business, he has purchased 6 SCBA bottles at a cost of $4,364. With that, we adjourned at 8:31. Chief Shepherd, do you have anything to add?
No, sir.
Chief Hutchins, do you have anything to add?
Nothing right now, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's all.
Thank you. Streets and drainage, Mr. Heffernan.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Streets and Drainage Committee met this evening at 5:30. All order, and Superintendent Bob Geller gave his report. He reported that the salt painting is due May 31st, and we have to pay for 80% of what total coming from Winnipeg, which we have 400 tons to pay for at $60 per ton, approximately $24,000 that we will have on that. The money for that salt is in the budget. And also it was discussed about the possibility that the Port Authority may have a storage facility that we might be able to use. The mayor said he would check into that. The second item on the agenda was the Dura patch of work. They've been working on Franklin Avenue and Liberty Drive. They're still learning the use of the machine, but if anybody would take the drive on those roads, you will see that it has done a pretty good job. The guys are working hard to make use of that machine. The third item was the paving for 2012-13. 2012, we're trying to maybe do Summit Street and Green Valley Drive. Curbs and gutters there are in really bad shape, and the price of doing that would be very expensive. We don't know whether we'll be able to get that or not. The CEDG grant will help pave the western part of Irving Wick Drive. And in 2013, we're looking to do Willow Ridge, and the 30th Street project will be done at that time. The fourth item on the agenda was the tree that was trimmed on the corner of Full Lane, and the resident was advised that the tree was blocking the view there, and so we sent out a crew, and they trimmed the tree back, and the resident was pleased with how it turned out. The fifth item on the agenda was repairing roads due to water breaks. What happens, the water department will tear up the street, and when they finish, they will put a preliminary topping of powdered limestone on, and then the repair is handed over to the street department, who will finish the repair. These water main breaks or water breaks that have been throughout the city, that they will start working next week on finishing that repair. With nothing else to report, we adjourned the meeting at 5:42. Bob, is there anything you'd like to add here?
Nothing, thanks. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Community development, zoning, Mr. Henry.
In the next meeting, community development and zoning is at 5:30 p.m. on Saturday, May 2012.
Recreation and David Shea. Mrs. Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President. Parks, Recreation, and Davis Shea met this evening at 5:43. The first item on the agenda is that the piping is fixed at the pool, and Viroflow came in and was able to do the repair. Second item is cleaning pool and landscaping. The water is out, and they'll be pressure washing the pool and painting lines in the Olympic pool. They're also going to be planting additional flowers this year. Third item, the pool staff has been hired, staffing is complete, so they're no longer accepting applications, and they'll be making calls to make offers. If for some reason someone doesn't go through with coming to work for the pool, they have additional applications already. Ann Clippinger will be the new manager, Rhonda White will be the assistant manager, and they're trying to have weekly staff meetings, but at least every 2 weeks. They're finalizing the swim teams for the year to ensure that we can cover costs, considering minimum wages increased, and we have to cover our costs for paying guards, etc. Phil and Jane will be helping out during the transition and will also be part-time employees as needed. Mayor asked about the future of the doggy paddle, and Bob reported that they have not determined any residual effects from last year's event. So if when the water is turned on, we have no problems, he doesn't see a problem with going forward with that. The fourth item on the agenda was 2 legislative requests. The first was for a trailer for $3,500 out of capital improvements. $5,000 has been allocated, so this is well within the budget. Second item came about as a result of an auditor's report for the pool. They recommended security cameras to monitor daily transactions to reduce loss. One would be placed in the office, one in the cage where money's collected, and there's going to be a new area at the pool outside of that area where memberships can be purchased, and they would place one there as well. The estimate for the 3 cameras would be $3,225. Bob has asked for a legislative request for $4,000 to cover any incidental costs that may come up as they move forward the installation. The mayor recommended that we look at the possibility, there are some other departments that are looking at cameras as well, to see if maybe we can get a volume discount if we combine those purchases. So we will move forward with the legislative request, but we will wait and see if we can get a better price on those. And that's it for Parks, Recreation, and Davis Shea. Do you have anything to add, Bob? Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Planning Commission, Mr. Craven.
Thank you, Mr. President. Planning Commission will meet Thursday, April 26th at 7 p.m. Mr. Rob, anything to add?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, this completes committee reports. Move into introduction of ordinances. Ordinance 31, 2012.
Ordinance 31, 2012, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation of $7,594 from the capital improvement fund run by Athletics LLC and reporting parents to the road in East Pleasantville, Ohio, 43148, purchase 1 quart of pleasure for the full court proposal submitted.
Mr. President,
Mrs. Cole.
I'd like to make a motion that we waive the second reading of ordinance 31, 2012.
Another second by Mr. Morrow. Waive. Roll call.
Crable,
Yes.
Bevan,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Morrow,
Yes.
Cole, yes.
Motion approved.
Mr. President,
Mrs. Cole.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt ordinance 31, 2012.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Crable,
Yes.
Bevan,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Morrow,
Yes.
Cole, yes.
Ordinance 31, 2012 has been adopted. Ordinance 32, 2012.
Ordinance 32, 2012, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation of $6,000 from law enforcement trust fund materials and supplies, purchase ammunition for the police department.
Ordinance 32, 2012 adopted second reading. Ordinance 33, 2012.
Ordinance 33, 2012, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation of $1,350 from the capital improvement fund to upload stone slabs and 3 pool areas at the water park according to proposals submitted.
Mr. President,
Mrs. Cole.
I'd like to make a motion that we waive the second reading of ordinance 33, 2012.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Crable,
Yes.
Bevan,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Morrow,
Yes.
Yes.
Motion's been approved.
Mr. President,
Mrs. Cole.
I'd like to make
motion and second to adopt ordinance 33, 2012. Any discussion? Not roll call.
Grable?
Yes.
Heffley?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes.
Ordinance 33, 2012 has been adopted. That's all first reading. Ordinances on the second reading. Ordinance 24, 2012.
Ordinance 24, 2012, an ordinance waiving competitive bidding procedure, authorizing appropriation of $36,840 from the capital improvement fund, authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into agreement with Durham School Committee, 525 Northern Drive, Saginaw, Michigan, for 8601 to move into the maintenance building in the street department according to proposal submitted.
Mr. President,
Mr. Heffernan.
I move that we adopt ordinance 24, 2012.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Any discussion? None. Roll call.
Grable?
Yes.
Heffley?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes.
Ordinance 24, 2012 has been adopted. Ordinance 25, 2012.
Ordinance 25, 2012, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation of $5,750 within the capital improvement fund to install a 760-gallon oil water interceptor at the street department according to the proposal submitted.
Mr. President,
Mr. Heffernan.
I move that we adopt ordinance 25, 2012.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Grable?
Yes.
Heffley?
Yes.
Henry? Johnson?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes.
Ordinance 25, 2012. Ordinance 27, 2012.
Ordinance 27, 2012, an ordinance waiving bidding procedure authorizing and directing the mayor to allow for sale of one 1992 John Deere Model F932 riding mower in wastewater department.
Mr. President. Mr. Morrow.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 27, 2012.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Grable?
Yes.
Heffley?
Yes.
Henry? Johnson?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes.
Ordinance 27, 2012. Ordinance 28, 2012.
Ordinance 28, 2012, an ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to allow the negotiation of sewer charges if the user exceeds 5,000 units for the wastewater department.
Mr. Morrow.
Ordinance 28, 2012. Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Not roll call.
Grable?
Yes.
Heffley?
Yes.
Henry? Johnson?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes.
Ordinance 28, 2012. Been adopted. That's all the ordinances on second reading. We move to the resolutions on first reading. Resolution 2012-2.
Resolution 2012-2, a resolution of the council of the city of Depot.
Resolution 2012-2 will be done to the second reading. Resolution on second reading, there are none. Reports to city officials. Very good.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to welcome everyone here this evening. Want to thank council for waiving the second reading and passing on ordinances 31 and 33. I know our Parks and Rec personnel are working hard to get the water park ready to go for the 2012 season. These were a couple of items that we needed to address in order to make that happen, so thank you. Lynn, I just want to ask you a question real quick. This is for the animal shelter, right?
Yes.
Dog tags that you were talking about is for the county animal control.
So that is,
Right.
the animal shelter is animal control, Lincoln County.
Okay.
One of the same.
Oh, the Humane Society is the other.
Right. They're
That's
on
the
other
one
side
I'm
of
on.
town.
Okay. Okay.
They're side by side right now.
Right.
No, I think it'll be a lot easier for me when they're not right next to each other. So,
Now, this is the county department.
okay.
It's the county animal control. It's self-funded, and we're doing fundraising.
Okay. Thanks. Gerald, I appreciate your comments. Thank you very much for coming this evening and sharing those with us. I can understand your perspective on sometimes the media may choose to go in a direction and with a particular vigor on a story that one might not think is appropriate, depending on your point of view. I want to make sure just on a couple things, and you probably know this already. As city government, we have no control over how the media decides to pursue a particular story or an event that's taking place. I do think that that the media attention on this particular event was helpful from the standpoint that our dispatchers, what would you say, Chief? Maybe received, Chief Shepherd, yes. Chief, did we receive maybe 75, 100 calls or so on potential sightings on Mr. Stroud?
It was, I got an exact count today, it was 70 something.
With that precision, I'm sure that.
Let me, the memo was precise, my memory.
I'm sure that many of the tips that were called in were through people who had seen information about the incident, had seen a photograph of the individual through the media, and I think that the media helped to bring awareness among the citizenry that we were looking for this individual. I can understand that how he was being described or characterized, maybe is a better word, in the media, may not necessarily have been entirely accurate. When you consider the his status through the Scioto County legal and judicial system, when you consider information that our law enforcement agency received from personnel at the nursing home at the time the 911 call was made, and that information and being made available to the media through a news release from our department, it's understandable, how that information is being portrayed in the media. Like I said, I can't tell you how many times I could say, here's what the media needs to cover on, here's what they need to focus on, here's how.
Oh, I know.
I know as well as anybody, you don't control that. But I do want to mention that I think it was with the help of the media that we were able to have that information disseminated to the public so that there was a heightened sense of awareness of what our law enforcement agency was trying to.
And I think what I was trying, my point was that they were over the top, and they were on private property taking pictures, hiding in Oak Tree Shopping Center area, taking pictures of windows that were broken, and they were hiding in the bushes there. And the residents there do have rights, as well as we do as citizens, not to be filmed if we don't want to, like that. And then that was it. It was a little bit of invasion of privacy on the other residents at the home and the employees as well. And speaking of one real quick thing too about the school being let out that day, on Clarendon Drive, I can tell you all day long there was kids out in the street playing. And other neighborhoods I saw kids walking. So really, and I talked with the other residents and Heath and North and whatever, they thought the kids would have been safer had they been in a school, locked down in a school where they did have supervision, rather than being on the streets where the parents went off to work or wherever and just let them come out. And they, at that point during the day, they did not know there was, with the media's hype, they didn't know if he was still out, what the danger was or how much danger he was. So I did want to bring up the fact that, you know, maybe that was, again, that was another reason I think we had such media attention, because they shut down, locked down school. And maybe, you know, rightly so, I'm not saying that, but I'm just mentioning the fact that the kids were outside. I've also requested I left a message for, Mr. Shepherd, and maybe yourself too tomorrow, to have a meeting with our representatives who actually do the leasing of our nursing homes, to have a sit-down talk with them and see how we can, you know, get this, like you said, get everything back in track and everything like that. So that would be very helpful, I think, if you met with our representatives from the facility, to help everybody understand what really kind of happened, and things were kind of, you get somebody that's real excited on a phone call. I mean, somebody, you know, obviously the young girl, or I think she's young, but the young lady or whoever she was that did the phone call was a little bit misrepresentation. And when you have a lockdown unit, what would you perceive? You would perceive that, you know, and also there's Alzheimer's residents in the facility as well, and they are wonders, and this is done for their safety more so than yours and mine. It's for their safety. Again, that next day we had a gentleman in Columbus that wandered off, and so some of this stuff is necessary, and like I said, it's more for the residents' rights and protection than it is for you and I. But thank you for your comments, I appreciate it, and I would appreciate the phone call, Mr. Shepherd, if we could do that and speak tomorrow.
Sure.
So we'll have our teams back tomorrow as well.
Okay. You know, if I may, I kind of share a counter view to yours as far as the decision the Superintendent Foreman made to close the schools. As a parent of a daughter who was getting ready to go to the bus stop at the time that I found out that the situation was happening, and another one that was going to be going to the bus stop later that morning. I appreciate the fact that call was made. I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you had schools been in session, but at that time there were kids waiting, you know, out in the neighborhood on, you know, streets waiting for the buses to come, and there were more that were going to be waiting as the elementary school pickups were being made. I wasn't part of Superintendent Foreman's decision, but if I had to make a guess, I would venture to guess that that was partly in his mind.
I can understand the bus stop situation.
And I want to thank you for your willingness to work with us to try to improve the situation and make sure that we don't have a recurrence of this. Any way that you can be helpful to make sure that we don't have the ingredients for this type of an incident, you know, occurring again would be very helpful. So, speaking for myself, and I'm sure Chief Shepherd as well, we welcome trying to work with you to make sure that that is accomplished.
I think that's what we all want. And
Good. Good. Well, thank you, Carol.
Okay.
Again, I appreciate you coming. And that's all I have this evening, Mr. President. Thank you.
Auditor Alexander.
I have no comment this evening.
Thank you. Law Director Morrison.
I have no comments either.
Started with you last night? Oh, okay, Mr. Hefner, start with you.
I'd like to thank you very much for your input. I know that the Mayor and Chief Shepherd certainly want to try and in the future, hopefully, this will not happen to the city of Heath or any other city in the state of Ohio. It's not that these people don't need care, but I think there needs to be some notification for letting us know in the individual cities that that person is there. Okay. And I'd also like to say, Mr. Goodman, that you're working well with the animal control, and they have turned it around.
They've actually helped with the dog pound. Humane Society.
Thank you, Mr. President. Budget comments, Mr. Mayor made for the visitor section. Here again, same upset. And the Heath Police Department, Shepherd, job well done.
Right.
Bottom line is communication all the way through. So, thank you. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think I'll just welcome the visitors tonight. Thank you for coming. I think most of the comments have pretty much been covered here. It's good to see you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also just want to welcome everyone, and because the last few weeks have probably been particularly stressful in the income tax division, I just wanted to thank Commissioner Geller and her staff for all their hard work. So that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, good to see you back.
Mr. Craig.
Welcome everyone here tonight. Thanks for the comments and thank you for your participation. We want to hear from you.
Lynn, do you have anything? We'll go down to John Geller. No comments. Kim Geller. Rob Geller. None. John Ross. Keith Shepherd.
Yes. Carol, I did get your call, and I'm sorry, when you return, I will call you tomorrow morning. You know, everybody's got a perspective. I'm charged with the safety of the community, and what you might refer to as hype. We don't hype anything
No,
from the police. We're trying to disseminate facts as we gather them. The fact remains, even from some of your staff members, he was described as dangerous, and we don't know him, so
true.
we have to rely on the information provided. We contacted Scioto County. They too felt he was a danger, and so I don't know the man. I know what transpired in Scioto County, and so what might appear to be an intense, or I didn't hear all your comments, but I sense that you feel it got more attention than it should have. But we did issue a press release. We do work with the media. I do appreciate their interest and assistance in getting the message out. There are some other disturbing factors that I'll share with you when we talk tomorrow. But I appreciate your comments today. But yesterday I could have been no prouder of the police department, my staff, in accomplishing what they did with very little information they had to begin with. And by the time I arrived, we had a much clearer picture of Mr. Stroud. And it wasn't from watching the videotape of the hearing. And lastly, you can't judge a book by its cover, as they commonly say. Anybody can be dangerous. So, I just felt it necessary to tell you that, we received a lot of calls from very frightened people. Anyway, I'll leave it at that.
All right, thank you.
And we'll discuss some of the other details.
Okay, thank you.
Never should cut off. You need time enough. Oh my God. No, that's hot.
Lunch on fire, red lobster.
Chief Shepherd, are you done with your comments?
Yes, I'm
Chief Huggins, do you have any comments tonight?
just too much excitement. I have some.
I got a few housekeeping items to take care of. First, happy birthday to Mr. Crable on April 20th, that is Friday. Right? Happy birthday to you. Couple things I want to, Mr. Groff, so I don't forget later to ask you about this or say something to you. There's going to be a couple of gentlemen, I think, contacting you maybe about getting on your committee agenda for the Purple Heart City kind of stuff. Has anyone contacted you yet? Like that?
Not yet.
Okay. I just want to say something so I wouldn't forget. They did it in Oregon. So they maybe talking to you or Mr. Griffin. That's what committee to come to. And I thought the zoning was the appropriate committee to come to. So they may or may not. I don't know. Depending on their schedule. I told them it was. The other thing on the
You think the ones that present maybe some information?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, whatever they presented to North, I guess North became Purple Heart City, and then the county became a Purple Heart County, and the state's going to become a Purple Heart State or whatever. So they want the city to become a Purple Heart. Okay. I don't know the process or whatever. But anyway, just bring that up. Mr. Gruff, you also sent out the thing about 79 update, number 22. I can't open it when it has the docx at the end and everything. But I went to the website, and the website has document number 20, so it's missing 21 and 22. Everything. So this housekeeping, maybe check that. The website has it spelled. Well, I was going to go to another computer to open it, but I didn't have, ran out of time. So when I came here, I thought I just mentioned it that
Get back my number on.
remember to just update the website and maybe put both 21 and 22 in there, whatever 21, unless it doesn't mean anything anymore, whatever 21.
Yeah, 21 maybe.
Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. That's it.
Take a look at it.
Okay. Another thing to mention, this Saturday is the Hank Smith Invitational Track Meet at Heath High School. So anyone that's not doing anything on Saturday, if you'd like to help work, I know they still need people to help work, that and everything, so if you're interested in that. And I want to have a shout out to Ken out there. I think this is the first meeting he's been that I was the official council president, so I thought you might want to put that in the minutes. You need anything like bossy later on.
TIM.
And with that, I don't have anything else. New business, none. Reading bids, none. Miscellaneous, none. Adjournment.
So moved.
All right, motion second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
So, what I'm talking about,
There was only signing on one side.
It is.
Yeah. Signing on one side. We'll have to.